Now I'm going to begin this one a little bit different. I'm not going to do all the yos this week, man.
Yeah.
You know, nobody taught us how to feel and only how to perform with strength.
Men.
Men, yeah.
Mm.
Um, Turning pain into punchlines, laughing off trauma,
Men.
calling anxiety pressure,
Mm.
and calling depression just tired.
Mm.
We didn't suppress emotions because we want to. We did it because it was safer,
Mm.
the safer option. So, yeah, let's hear this out.
Mm. Let's drop that. Yo!
And let all the fly skimmers feel the beat.
So, the man himself,
You're gonna ask me to start first.
yeah, man, who needs, I know, man, who needs no introduction, but he has
Man.
an introduction for being a leader of men and plenty. The man himself, Steve, or Colonel Steve Austin.
Yeah, man. Yo, man.
And I go by the name of Superman Bam Bam.
Superman, 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 bam,
And
bam,
yo, man,
bam.
yo, in the usual style, what do you think, man?
See, when you did your pre-ramble, I kept saying men. There's
Mm,
this thing, there's this a man should be, a man cannot, a man should be, a man cannot. He can't cry, he can't this, he can't that. He can't
mm,
have emotions, he can't have feelings. BS, man. You know,
mm,
there's a lot of stuff put on us as you know what, and disclaimer.
mm.
I don't care if any woman wants to come in the comments and make comments because you know what? Not every man is the same. Not every woman is the same. What I'm coming from is from me.
Mm, 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 mm,
This is me. I'm not talking
mm,
for all men. This is for me.
mm,
And if people don't like it, I'm not even going to apologize. It's what it is. It's how it is. Um, growing up, I was fortunate. You know, I had both my parents, my mum and my dad. They were married for 55 years before they passed away.
wow, man, that's beautiful, man.
And having my dad, who was my, I am his mirror image. You know what I mean? I mirrored myself on him. You know,
That's an
he was a cop.
understatement, bro. Like
Yeah,
you took the blueprint and started designing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, man. He was a carpenter and a builder. You know, and even though my line of work is in the office,
Mm,
I've got tools downstairs. You know what I mean?
mm, mm, mm,
I
mm.
don't need to call a man unless it's for water or electrics.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't touch with water or electrics. Everything else,
yeah.
I'm
You
doing
got
it.
it on lock.
Yeah. So, but my dad still had emotion. My
Mm,
dad was still, I remember seeing my dad cry for the first time, and that was in 1975 when my younger brother Martin passed away.
wow. Rest in power,
And
man.
yeah, man. Yeah. Then I saw him cry again in
Mm.
1993. That's a big leap. But my grandma, my mum's mum passed away. He didn't even cry when his mum passed away. He cried when my mum's mum passed away.
That's love, man. That's
You know what I
love.
mean? And I remember when I used to cry. You know, you get them parents that don't cry. He never said that to me.
Mm,
He just said, let it out.
mm,
Because when you hold it in, it will kill you.
mm,
Let it out, Gus. And I let it, if I cry, I let it out.
mm,
You know what I mean? And it's weird though, because I'm a person where, see, with relationships and women,
mm.
I don't do the 2 month, 1 week, 2 week. All my relationships have been like
Long term.
length. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But you
You,
know,
you,
I've
you
never,
you ain't skating as a mystery. You're not,
mm-mm.
you know what I'm saying?
But when they were
Keeping
done,
it
I never
locked.
cried. Yeah, I never cried. I
Yeah.
never cried. You know, but what I did do, and what I still do, is when I'm frustrated with a woman, or whoever it might be, my sister, my wife, my kids, I make music. So I have my
Mm,
release for dealing with the angst, that pain in that neck, that,
mm.
you know, I get on my turntables, I scratch. If people hear me scratching, they know I'm pissed. You know what I mean? When I start cutting up savagely,
When you
yeah, the harder the scratch, you
then
know
you
how much
know how deep it's going.
and people stay away. If I'm tapping them drums, the cow,
Wow,
cow, the
man.
snares hard, yeah, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's a hard
but
one, isn't it? It's
mm, but you
you
know,
know,
of
the
recent
honesty,
times,
the honest. We're talking. What you're saying to me is like, as men, we tend to wear this kind of, ego thing as an armor, right? And
mm,
we tend to kind of have this image around, vulnerability, you
mm,
know, and we put too much on reputation as well.
mm,
What will
mm,
people think? What will my friends think? What will my brothers think if they see me feeling low? And especially amongst men, we've created this culture around vulnerability that it's seen as weakness. Yeah.
mm,
And that's a hard thing, man. And I hear what you're saying about, I look to you sometimes, and I must say, I look at your relationship that your parents had, right?
mm,
Because
mm.
your parents were close, your parents were tight.
Man, they still have that relationship
Do you
because
see what I'm saying? Do you see
six
what I'm
months
saying?
after my mum went, my dad went too. He said, "Hey, I'm out of
That's
here.
it. That's it. He's like, I'm packing my bags, man.
I'm out.
I'm
I'm
like,
out."
I'm out. I'm out of here, right?
Mm,
And you know, I had parents. My parents were married for, gosh, um, 20 something years, late 20
mm,
something
mm,
years of
mm,
marriage, right? And they divorced,
mm.
right? If you're going to ask me the question when they divorced, was I sad? My answer would be nope, right? Because growing up as a
Mm.
kid, um, that house was dysfunctional.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm,
So, and that's just being honest. That's just being truthful. Um, my parents at times didn't talk to each other for long
mm.
periods of time. My dad used to
Mm.
work away. Yes, he'd bring home the bacon, but that's what he'd bring. Do you know what I'm
He
saying? He's
didn't.
a typical West Indian father. I brought
He
home the
didn't bring
bacon.
any
What more you
eggs.
want? What
He
more
never
you
bring
want?
that. He wants
Yeah.
you want eggs.
You know what I'm saying? What more you want? We want eggs and the fish and the meat.
And some
But
bakes.
and it was deep because, at one point my parents were really getting on, in my
Mm,
younger days. But
mm.
when we got older, that changed,
You
and I
know
don't
what?
know what that
You,
was.
you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this from what I've seen. This is
Mm,
like I said in my disclaimer. It's what I've seen. I
mm,
personally believe a lot of dysfunctionality in relationships come from people having kids, and a lot of the
mm,
challenges happen when both parents try to be alpha in that relationship with the kids. So you get the case where, oh, I don't wash her that way, or I don't wash him that way, or I don't feed him that
mm,
way, I don't feed her that way. You feed her how you feed her. I feed him how I feed him. As long as the same output or the same input is the
input
same,
is happening.
they're fed and they're not hungry. That's the goal.
Yeah, yeah. I hear what you're
If I
saying.
wash or you wash, or not, don't bun that. This the commonality should be what the end goal is,
Mm,
not what's happening in the middle. And then you get the ones where, oh, let's have another kid. It's the same relationship. No, kids take a lot out of you.
definitely.
Broken sleep can't be repaired. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And,
Hmm.
those behaviors, it makes me wonder, I've never,
So maybe that's what could have happened to your parents. They might have had.
that could have been it. That could have been it. But I know, I came from, and I hope I don't cross any lines here.
You might get
But I
licks.
came from, yeah, get licks.
Your mum get your
But
licks.
I came from a household where my parents would argue and my parents would fight. So I saw the
Not.
physical
Oh,
violence as well as
snaps.
the spoken violence. So seeing that growing up as a young boy and the level that it would get to kept us on edge in the household, you know, and it
Mm,
kept us in a state of and it's only now when I think about how things are in terms of me
mm,
as a person growing up that I
mm,
realize how that had an effect
mm,
on myself and on my siblings,
mm,
in terms of our own relationships and things like that. And I'm so glad that in a way we didn't go down certain pathways. We didn't none of us are real heavy drinkers, so we didn't drink to cope with stuff. We didn't
mm,
take up any drugs or smoking things to
mm.
kind of keep us. I didn't really treat, you know, maybe maybe the sex stuff might be a bit different. I'm already saying, man. I'm only being real here, man. This is real talk. Not gonna sugarcoat it. But sometimes look at my work ethic around things like trying to pack in too much work.
Mm,
And I look at that as sometimes a method of avoidance. Yeah.
mm.
Um, and you know, it took me years to kind of understand the destructive nature of some of these things. So much so that, a couple of years ago, I said, okay, I'm going to see, a word that us as black folk don't like to use, but I'm going to
Not the
see,
C word.
yeah, man. Yeah, I'm going to seek
Oh,
some counseling, some therapists. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Um,
you're gonna air your laundry.
do you know what I'm saying? To unlock things. And I actually came across
Mm.
a therapist that wasn't into this whole how do you feel right now. He wasn't like that at all. He was a Yorkshireman, and he
Oh
was properly
God,
like
Yorkshire,
okay,
Yorkshire, Yorkshire
you know what
tea.
we're gonna do, we're gonna try and fix this shit. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do, right? And we're not
Mm,
gonna spend time asking how do you feel, because that does
mm,
nothing for you. And I was like,
mm.
oh, 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 what's this guy? Who's
Yeah,
this guy?
caught you off guard, boy.
Caught me properly off guard, bro. And you know if anything, that's how he kind of unlocked certain things, certain things that were, in a sense, holding me back from being me.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And the thing about kids that are broken, most times with kids that are broken, you don't see it because kids are quite resilient. They kind of hide it, or they'll do certain things to kind of get over the fact. But
But
the
how do
actual,
you,
gone.
from your broken experience,
Mm.
would you say you put that into your relationship now and your family now, or would you say you, because of what you witnessed, you don't want that, so you just change that up?
I changed it up.
Mm,
I put love into my children. I put a
mm.
lot of love into my children. My children are the center of my universe. And
Big up to Will Smith and Pharaoh Munch.
yo, if you see my two youngest boys, man, it is literally like Will Smith and Pharaoh Monch. It's literally,
And big up to the wife, man.
yeah,
Much
man,
love, man.
yeah, man. And it's there's a lot involved in it. There's a lot involved, you know.
But you see what you're saying there. Also, well, my voice went also see the motion came out. Also, but it's like again last January, we went to Bunny's house to
Yeah,
film one of our last videos, Darkness.
darkness. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And that song was about mental trauma. We all three tackled that
yeah,
situation.
yeah.
Wayne's verse was a bit, whew, was a bit, it's still a bit heavy for me, man.
Still gets me. Still
When
gets
he
me.
says, he jumps off a building and he looks up while he's on the way down. And I still got a frown. I'm like, what? The sadness of that was that we filmed that in January.
Yeah,
We left Bunny's house at 1 o'clock in the morning.
yeah.
You dropped us to your house. My car was at
To
your
your
house.
car, to the stuff I dropped
And
you there.
I dropped Wayne to his house.
Yeah,
That night, got him around 2 o'clock in the morning.
yeah.
10:30 that morning, Wayne phones me, "Gus, my mum's passed away."
Jeez, man.
I'm like, how can you go from filming a video called Darkness to being in darkness?
And he talks about, the thing is, he talks about his mother's illnesses
Mm,
in that in the
yeah.
verse.
There's songs in brief. Well, my voice again. In brief, he mentions it. When his mum caught COVID when she was in hospital and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And these things, it's like, that art imitating life. And we go through these kind of these situations, and as men, what we don't do, which what a lot of women do, is we don't sit down and make that situation breathe.
But
Just
do they
using
make
that
it
term.
breathe though? Do they make it breathe?
Do women make it breathe?
Yeah.
I think a lot of women do. When I sit around women and there's a circle of women and me as a man being in that circle and they're
Mm,
having a conversation, their conversation goes into the detail, you know? They'll
mm.
talk about every kit caboozle, Look, any married man or any cohabiting man
Mm.
who goes to his wife, and you know what I'm gonna say next. How was your day? Right? Don't act like you don't know this one, man. Don't act like you don't know this.
Well, let
Like,
me see. So this. Let me show you how let me show you how it looks like. It's I do that line. I'm like this. I'm listening.
yep,
When the role is reversed,
yeah, 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 yeah,
sure,
yeah,
man.
yeah. And that's the reality of it. When they amongst themselves, they share a lot. They share a
Mm.
lot. They share a lot, and they share a lot of the time. They'll talk about things that we as men wouldn't talk about.
Well, speaking of not talking about or talking, like for example, my situation currently,
Mm,
October 22nd, lost bunny
mm,
bread.
jeez.
Then
Even when you say it like that, bro, it still
yeah,
is not real to me, man. It's not real to
my
me.
my oldest and longest friend lost him. All right. Then 8th of Jan, I think it was, Huggy went.
Jeez.
And then 2 days after that, my mum's twin brother goes.
I know.
My mum's twin brother's funeral is day after tomorrow.
Jeez, man.
So right now, I'm in darkness at the moment.
Hmm.
And I'm in the process of moving the house. So that stress,
Do you know what? I was gonna say that to you the other day, man, when you were saying about the moving house thing, and I was like, when there's this moment where you want to go to your brethren, like, yo, you sure you want to do this right now, bro? Because there's all this stuff going on at the same time.
but what the thing is? The thing is, it's my uncle. Like my uncle was like the last remnants of my mum.
Mm,
So when my mum passed away, it cut like them what them think them razor blades he's putting them old
mm,
clippers.
mm, mm,
Enough
mm, mm,
people
mm.
slashing me away. I said cut like that. But I had that little tinkling because my uncle was still there, her twin, and now
Mm.
he's gone. So all I've got left in the UK is my aunt, and then obviously I got a message yesterday. Huggy's funeral was on the 27th of February. So it's like, and in truthfulness, I don't talk to anyone because
Mm,
the way I like to be heard, it's not always there.
mm.
I like to talk to people and just air my shit out, get it all out.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because when you interrupt, it cuts me off, and I lose my train of thought, and I lose
Mm,
where I'm at, and then it becomes a block. So I'm like, oh shit, how do I get rid of that now?
mm.
So I want to go, and it's empty,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, I
yeah,
feel good now. And that's the reason why sometimes I like to drive. When I come from work, I'll drive
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because I just want
yeah.
to
I do
air it
that
out,
drive thing as well,
play my
man.
tunes, air it
Yeah,
out.
yeah. But what do you
So
think? Do you think is there a fear of being judged, a fear of being of levels of respect? Is there like a fear of being
no,
seen as being unstable or fear of becoming that guy? We all know who that guy,
for,
yeah?
but in what respects are you talking though?
In
In that
terms
regard,
of how you feel internally, because you mentioned two really heavy things in there, right? Um, you know, that you're not you want to lay out, but you don't have the outlet, right?
Mm.
And also, you know, that restriction, is it self-inflicted? You go, I are you making assumptions, or are you like, look, I
You know what,
know.
bro? Through all the grief and the like, I remember what I said this before. I think it was 99 when I worked at H&M. This is
Mm,
99, all right? This is 36 years ago,
mm,
26 years ago. My then boss had a guy called Kevin who started work, and he goes, I won't introduce you to Gus because all his friends die." And this is just after Mark, Noel, Peter, and Constance died from Spread Love.
oh my
And then,
God,
and
man,
that, a
rest in
week
power,
before
them
that,
guys, man.
yeah, I lost my
Oh,
mate Fiji as well. So, and it was that
rest in
situation.
power. Yeah.
So I've had people drop, family and friends drop. And it's like, I'm a person where I like to just, not that I want to be heard like constantly, but let me say my piece because I, in, I don't need an opinion. I just say my stuff, get it out.
Mm,
And if I don't get it out, it's like, it's a bit of a frustration for me. So, and I don't want to go to a stranger because when I did a coaching and counseling course, a 5 day counseling course. I'm now a qualified counselor and coach, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And and in that, I learned that the number one rule, what's the number one rule for coaching and counseling? Do
Listening,
you know? Listening,
listening.
not talking, not putting your
Mm,
opinion. The number one rule for counseling and coaching is listening.
mm,
And when the person tells you, so I don't know if you ever did this. There's a thing called the grow model, and there's another one called, oh, I've got my
mm.
book somewhere.
Yeah,
And
we did the
basically,
grow model, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
and basically, you're motivated. They stop
that's it.
and they
And you're
say,
meant to stay silent.
yeah, and they say to you, you can ask the next question, and boom, 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 you talk again, and when you stop, you say to the counselor or whatever, you can ask your next question, because then
Mm,
the counselor knows if you interrupt that person, you're messing that flow. You're not getting the
mm,
trueness out of them. So through all of my life, no one really knows fully what Gus feels apart from God.
mm.
Because when I sit and talk to God, he listens. He just
See,
sits there like he sits there like, one true bro. I don't need his opinion. I just need to hear me. You know what I mean? So,
word.
and that's why that's why I probably sorry to cut you. That's why probably
No.
I've made so much music. I've got a lot to say.
Speaking with the
Yeah.
drums.
And speaking the
Yeah.
lyrics.
No, it's real.
Mm.
It's real, bro. You know, there's you know, and thank you for that, man, because that's a real insight, you know.
Mm.
I know that oftentimes we've had conversations and deep conversations, and I always ask you in those situations, like, look, you know, hey, yo, man, if you need anything, if you want me to talk, if you know, you get that, you know, because
Mm.
you're seeing your friend and you're like, you want to help, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? But it's also good to understand where you're coming from with regards to the space and how you process all of that.
Like when Brett died, people would say to
Mm,
you, "Oh, what do you need? I need space." Yeah,
mm.
but what do you need? I said I need space. So they're not listening to me. They
They're not
ain't
listening.
listening.
Yeah, yeah,
They're just
yeah.
doing their routine because that's what we do. Oh yeah, I'll bring you a pot of rice and some curry. Go no 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 no. What do you need? So one time I went to I want £1,000. What? I ain't got that. Well, give me my space then, and don't give me the grand. You heard it. They heard
I
the
love
thousand
it,
pound
man.
part.
I love
You
that.
know what I mean? I don't just give me the space.
Yeah,
Give me a
man.
pound. Thank you, ma'am. You know what I mean?
Do you know though? You know what people are going to be thinking though,
Mm.
right? They're going to be thinking, you know, are you just being the strong one? Yeah. Um, you know, are you being? They're gonna say, oh, Gus is he's gonna crack under pressure, you know, because it'll reach a point where he'll crack. Are you being a strong one? You know, but I think knowing you and seeing how you operate and how you are, it's exactly what you said. You process it differently, man.
When my mum passed away, August the 7th, 2015, so I went to her very fast, arranging her funeral, get it all ready, came back to England, got a flight, got her out, got her to her room, took my computer out, and I smelled her. It went. Same with my dad. My dad passed March 18th, 2016. It was around my birthday, and I was playing something. I did 7 inches, and I smelt the 7 inches. It smelt like the 70s and 80s being at home, dad playing tunes. And you know what I mean? Buddy passed away last year, October. I haven't broke yet. I have not gone. Right? Enough people have gone. Buddy, yeah. I'm like, okay, because I think it's probably disbelief still. I can't believe it, or maybe I don't want to believe it. I don't know, but it's like, but I know it will come, and you know what? You don't force it. You just let it come when it comes.
You know what? You know, some of the strongest people that I've met are not the loudest, right?
Mm,
Um, they're the most honest.
mm,
Do you know what I'm saying?
mm.
You know, they're not shouting it out from the rooftops. They're not going, I don't me, and you know, and wailing and all.
I tell
They're
a
the
lie. I did cry when Bunny after. Oh, sorry to cut into you.
yeah,
Christmas time, I went to see Bunny's wife and his son. As soon as I hugged his wife,
yeah. You lay it out.
yeah, yeah.
You lay it
And I
out.
looked at his son and I was like, double ganger. And I was like,
Mm.
and then at one point we was taking pictures and I'll say cheese. He went, no, no, don't say cheese. Say bunny.
Oh wow, kids always do that, man.
Yeah.
Oh, they always do that, man. They always have that way of
Because
doing
the
things, man. That's
purity of
why,
their,
you know,
they're
that's why,
pure.
that's why I think it's important, especially with the way boys are, to
Mm.
teach them about that interface early, that ability to talk early in life, to let out those kind of emotions, to do it without shame. Um, I call it emotional literacy. That you're able to actually release that and be
You know,
be good at that.
you know what's important as well?
What's that?
That fathers communicate with their daughters. So
Mm,
when their daughters grow up, they're not going around thinking, "Oh, my man crying. What's that about?" No,
no,
no.
that's normal stuff. Funny you say that. I watch a lot of Korean dramas, right? I know. It's the thing. It's a thing. It's a thing, right? Um, I don't do as much as I did actually. I've kind of stepped
The
off that.
reason why I laugh is that, sorry to cut, the reason why I laugh, 15, 20 years ago, I was at my friend Zena's house. You know Zena.
Yeah, I know Zena, man.
And she
Come
was
on,
telling
big up
me the
Zena.
story of, yeah, man, big up the gaffer.
Yeah,
She was telling me about her dad and his history. And while she was doing it, there was this DVD, a Japanese DVD and a DVD player.
yeah,
But
yeah,
you know what? It's on the first page. You load the DVD up. It's got like titles, extra
yeah.
scenes. Had this dread music, and every time Tina dropped the punch, like, it would go. And I was like, but anyway, sorry. That's my sort of segue for Korean movies. But East.
No, but the Korean thing. The reason why I mentioned it is because I've never watched so many men cry in these shows. They
Choose the
always show
sword.
men crying, and
Or
it's
choose the
almost like
spoon.
the women cry less than the men
Mm,
cry. Do you understand where I'm
mm,
coming from in these
mm,
shows? And I don't know if that's a political thing or propagandist thing, but they always seem to show that.
mm,
And I thought that's quite interesting culturally that these guys, grown men, big ass men in these
mm,
shows, something could happen and then you see them breaking down, proper breaking down. And I just find that's really quite cool. Because as a young
mm,
person growing up in that mix, you probably look at that and go, okay, okay. You know what I'm saying? And I
mm,
can do that too. And not necessarily feel as if I'm some idiot or I'm crap
mm,
or I'm not a
mm,
man or I'm less testosterone filled. Yeah. I am actually a man and a human being who
mm,
has emotions and can actually let that out, you know?
mm.
And that's strong. I think, how we deal with things, I'd love to see men connect a lot more on that level. I mean, we have some deep conversations. I know that, right?
You
And if
know,
it wasn't for my circle like that, I
for
don't
years I
think,
kept saying I wanted to have
you
a
know.
thing called fan of man. All right. And what fan of man is
Mm,
where men sit together and they talk about stuff. Like my mate Adam Rock. Me
mm.
and Adam Rock record each other like once, twice a week, all right? And we're on the phone for 2 hours. And we're talking about
Wow.
prostate cancer to DIY to
Yeah.
collecting records to making beats to Jazz Refresh to
Mm,
Grenada, where he's from, St. Lucia, where I'm from.
mm.
He's a traitor and lives in South London. you know, you know what I mean? We just laugh, and obviously, and every now and again, most times when we have that conversation, the wives jump in. It's like, yo, your co-pilot's here. And he goes, yeah, so's yours. Meaning his wife and my wife, they're like on our
Yeah.
calls as well. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
have these conversations and we talk, and and me and you, we always talk. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But a lot of people don't,
Mm,
and in order for yourself to be healed, people have to recognize where the wounds are, man.
mm,
And if you can't see the wounds, man, then you're just literally just hiding that scarred tissue, and there's nothing that
mm,
anyone can do to see that. You
mm.
know,
They'll see your scars though. They'll see your scars will show
your
themselves in
scars
some
will
form.
show. Your scars will show in other ways. Yeah,
Mm,
in other ways, and there's no shame to go to a therapist. There's no shame to ask your brother for help. There's no shame in having talking emotional subjects. You know,
mm,
we are creatures, and in order to survive, this mental landscape, you
mm,
need to actually know yourself. You need to know the inner workings, and
mm.
that's the only way that you can unlock and free a lot of the things that are inside. So I want to take some time to sort of say, if you are in those situations, if you are feeling like that, I don't want you to just like or subscribe, right?
Mm,
I
mm,
want you to seek help. I want you to look at yourself and say, I need help. I need to go and talk to somebody. It doesn't have to be a therapist. It could be a family member or someone you can trust. It could even
mm.
be a work colleague who you can trust. Although I might stay away from work colleagues, some of them are snake.
Sneak
And
in the morning.
you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But do seek out a safe space where you can actually speak your truth, from the heart and inside
And
yourself. So
like what one of my best friends said on our track, The Darkness, you are not an island. So
ah,
seek it.
real
You're
talk,
not
man.
islands, you know what I mean?
Real talk, real talk, real talk, real talk. So I think there's a possibility that we may have aired this out, but we may revisit this subject matter.
Bro, I think we just skimmed with likes.
I think we properly skimmed. We properly
Yeah.
skimmed.
We're in the
Please
free
leave
foot.
comments. Please
We're in the
leave.
free foot.
You know what I'm going to say? Please leave organizations that you might know that can help men to talk, to let off, to whatever it is, whether it's Samaritans, whether it's, whatever, right? Because there's a lot of men that actually do need to be able to communicate in a language that they can communicate with and not necessarily and feel safe to do so.
And they need to
And
be able to communicate in their own homes as well.
mm,
Because you go to bed, you wake up, you go to bed, you wake up, you live with a person, whether you be heterosexual, bisexual, gay, whatever.
mm,
Learn to communicate with your partner.
cool. So
Cool.
I think we aired it out, bro.
Indeed.